The journey of adoption takes us to some strange places. Case in point, a tattoo parlor just outside of Philadelphia on a Saturday night at 9 p.m. What does this have to do with adoption, you ask? Well, in a single word, everything. You see, this is the story of how our daughter got her new middle name, Lucy. We met her 5 p.m. on Friday, November 19th, 2019. And when she got here, she was so shy we could hardly get a word out of her. With a little bit of coaxing, we got her settled into her room, and by 8 p.m., everyone was fed, and my wife was putting our son to bed. While waiting for her to get out of the shower, I turned on a Japanese animated show that I had been watching called Fairy Tale. And after getting herself ready for bed, she decided to check it out. And it was in this moment that she met Lucy. And here's the preface. Up until this point in her 11-year-old life, she had never seen an anime show before, let alone with a character like Lucy, who she immediately resonated with. In the show Fairy Tale, most of the characters are very one-dimensional, each representing a primary emotion. Lucy and a boy named Natsu are the main characters of the show. Now, here's the really important part. All of the main characters are part of a wizard's guild called Fairy Tale. The name has nothing to do with storybooks or even happily ever afters, but rather it is the part of an unanswered question. Do fairies have a tail? Which no one can ever seem to answer since no one has ever seen a fairy before. Each member of the guild is either an orphan or they came to the guild as a child or teenager due to a tragic disruption in their lives. Essentially, the guild hole is a home for foster kids, all protected by a man simply named Gramps. Every member of Fairy Tale Guild has the guild logo on their body somewhere. The colors and the size of the logo change from member to member, but each one wears the logo with pride. Lucy has a pink emblem on her left hand, and the other main character, Natsu, has a red logo on his right shoulder. And now, back to that very first night. When she sat down with me, she became instantly entranced by the character of Lucy. You see, Lucy is a very strong person on the outside who cares very deeply for the friends she has made and now consider to be her family. She is confident, intelligent, hopeful, fearless, and extremely creative at problem solving on the outside. She is passionate about protecting her family, who up until now were total strangers, but have adopted one another to make a new family. In those 23 minutes, she saw the woman that she wanted to become. She wanted to be Lucy because Lucy was also like her in so many ways. Fragile, vulnerable, and dependent on others to protect her when she is young. And yet here she was, although, albeit a cartoon character, having overcome almost all of the horrible things that have ever happened in her past, and now was the very role model our new foster child needed. Here was a teenager who had learned how to express her feeling in a healthy way, who had learned how to trust and rely on new friends, and learned to make a new family out of the friends she had met in the guild. And somewhere in the show, the words are spoken, family doesn't end in blood. And in the episode that we were watching, Natsu protected Lucy from whatever they were up against, even though the two characters had just met. And by the end of the episode, her world was turned upside down, inside out, and backwards, and had firmly landed on its head. So imagine it. A cartoon show made in 2009 had just shown her that there was hope, that she could overcome her past, make a new family, and become the woman she always wanted to be. And I came across between Natsu and Gramps. Someone who was always looking out for her, always protecting her, someone who was always there to remind her that giving up is not an option, and the only way to move is forward, and that no matter what, no matter what. She will always have a family that will rally to her side, lift her up, and be there whenever she needs it. So Fairy Tale became more than a show to watch. It became a language. As she started to open up and trust, to be willing to experience emotions that she had locked far away, we learned to identify these new sensations through the various characters in the show. If she was having a bad day but couldn't verbalize why or what she was feeling, she could reference a character or an episode to help describe what she was going through. And so, fast forward 2.5 years, 300 episodes, and 160 books later, the talk of her adoption was becoming very real. Our soon-to-be forever daughter is now given the right to change her name if she wants to, and she wants to change it to Lucy. So I make the vow that if we are ever able to finally adopt her, once it happens, I will get the Fairy Tale emblem in red on my right shoulder. My promise to her through that is that she will always be protected, that she will never be taken away again, and she will always have a family. So on March 2nd, 2022, in court, when given the option to change her name to anything she wanted, she requested Lucy for her middle name. Still getting choked up over this all these years later. So where am I going with this? Oh yeah, the tat. I have this amazing cousin who is a tattoo artist who works outside of Philly. I've always told her that if I ever get a tattoo, she would be the only person I would go to. And it just so happened that I was in New Jersey and she had an opening in her schedule at 7 p.m. So there I was, getting a forever tattoo on my arm. All the while, my forever daughter stood over the whole process, watching every line, every dot, every fill, while beaming with pride, love, and acceptance. At age 41, I have received my first and only tattoo. And it's more than that. It's a vow from me to my daughter, my Lucy, that I am there with her and for her forever. I think this next moment is worth a little bit of reflection. So we're in New Jersey for my cousin's wedding. And in the service, the priest pauses to deliver a homily about CVS. Yeah, the name of a pharmacy. Thinking back on it though now, it's perfect. You see, in his message, CVS stands for Covenant, Vocation, Sanctification. Although his message was about marriage, as my arm was throbbing from those needles stabbing me over and over, I realized his message also applies to adoption. Hear me out. We're going to take this one at a time. Covenant. Adoption is a covenant between the parents and the child. We make a covenant with the child that they will never be alone again, that they will never be taken or forgotten, that they will never be forsaken again. In the Bible, the covenant was made by blood and through blood, and often the blood of both parties would be involved. But in this case, it was my blood, covering for the both of us. So here I was, staring at my daughter, staring at my arm, blood dripping down as the needles dug in. Vocation. Our job changes the moment a foster child walks through the door. It is up to all parties involved to establish new functions, boundaries, and obligation. And as you know, every foster child is very different, but they all have one thing in common. They need emotional development and security. And even now, my relationship with my daughter is more of protector and emotional educator. I am still working with her to help identify and work through her emotions. My wife and my parents all have their own roles. We all work for the benefit of the child, for this is our vocation. Sanctification. the action of making something holy, the action or process of being freed from sin or purified. In essence, this is an ongoing, lifelong process, filled with ups and downs, filled with struggles, yet also filled with a promise of purification over time, so long as we honor the covenant made and the vocation we have accepted. That is the role of a parent to the child, to guide them through this process, together as a family, forever. If you want to hear more stories about adoption and foster care, hit that like and subscribe button, because adoption never